Warning, this video contains spoilers for the end of Final Fantasy 16. If you didn't beat the game or, still interested in playing, stop now. If you continue, that's on you. Now, with that out of the way, I'm giving you a second chance. If you haven't beat the game, get out. Anyway, this ending is fucking garbage. One of the most predictable video game endings of all time. How the hell do they mess this up? Like, how do they, I don't understand, how do they fuck this up? The first 2/3 of the game, right? Masterpiece, everything. Garuda fight, it was the beginning, fine, that's cool. There was no Ramu fight, even though Sid was an ally. We got ripped off on that. The Titan fight was probably one of the best fights in video game history, in my opinion, because it reminds me of Surah's Wrath. And then the Bahamut fight was a solid 8.5. It did drag down a little bit at the end, but overall was great. This fucking game, right after that, just fucking jumps off a cliff. What the fuck was this ending? Like, it was, if you play this game, you have a half of a fucking pea-sized brain. You can see the ending from a mile away. Now you're probably wondering, oh, what is the ending? Well, the ending is the guy kills himself. Even though the whole game, they kept saying, hey, we want you to come back. We want you to come back. We want you to come back. And he doesn't. 3 dudes go over there to fight the bad guy at the end, and all 3 of them die. Well, we don't know if one of them did Joshua. We don't know if Joshua died, but he may have died. Who knows? Because the ending sequence where he wrote the book. That's a slap to the face. You making this a book does not make this any better. Square, this ending is trash. I don't know what happened in the development team where all of a sudden the writers got fired or something. They got replaced with your typical generic anime bullshit. What the fuck? Like, you had a whole political thing, a revenge plot, and then you just said, screw it, I'm just gonna just throw it away. Like, one of the main protagonists of the game is Jill, the waifu, Shiva. Throughout the whole game, she's like, oh, we're gonna do this together, but we gotta fight our demons. We gotta overcome this so we could be together and all the way to the end. The bitch gets sidelined. She doesn't do nothing for the rest of the game. Like, once you make it to the end, well, I give you my power now. That means I'm basically useless. Like, she does nothing. Nothing. Even though they spend the first 2 quarters, the first half of the game, just implying that they're gonna, do this state, ride or die. We're gonna be there to the end. Infrit, Shiva, ride or die. Every Final Fantasy, well, most of them are like this. Infrit and Shiva, every single time. No, she does nothing. There was a 5-year time skip in the game, and their relationship was exactly the same between those 5 years. They made no progress romantically, friendship-wise. They were exactly the same. They set up Jill to be the strong, like, female lead, that she has her own views, she has her own ambitions, she has her own demons she wants to fight. And it was just the same shit. The same typical anime heroine bullshit. And then what? There's nothing. Like, they just dropped the ball on that character too. She just ended up being another bland female character, just like every other fucking Japanese game that keeps coming out, when they don't do anything. They just like, hey, I'm gonna be with you the whole time. Nah, I'm gonna be with my bros to beat the bad guy. See you later, bye. And then also too, the girl that was with Joshua, Kote, I believe her name. Excuse me on the name on that. She gets sidelined too. This chick found this chick and her people find this man when he was dead, Joshua. Nursed him back to health. Was with him for most of his life. And all of a sudden, later on in the game, she's like, well, take a hike, bitch. I don't need you no more. I'm gonna be with my bro. And she's just like, well, I have no purpose now. You're on my purpose. He's like, I don't care. Too bad. Figure it out. Who does that? Why would you? This character has that character has no payoff. None of the female characters has payoff here. None of them. Why introduce them? Why set them up in such a way and then just drop the ball just like every other thing? Like, man, the honeymoon phase with this game is so over for me. It's so fucking annoying, man. God damn it. And don't even get me started on the bad guy Ultima. He is fucking trash. None of his motivations make sense. There's nothing like going for him. The ending for him doesn't make any sense. Like, nothing. He doesn't even have a good design. The boss fight was okay, but the boss fights dropped at the Bahamut. Like, that's another thing too. There was no Odin Kaiju fight. Why was there no Odin Kaiju fight? That shit make no sense. I don't want to fight you as Clive. I want to fight you as Infrid. Like, how did they mess this up? There's something happened between 2/3 of the game, like in the development. And not to mention too, there's a part during the game when fucking Odin slices the fucking ocean in half. What the fuck is Leviathan? Leviathan, they lost the set. Leviathan, they lost. Leviathan, the fucking DLC. That's what he's gonna be. That's bullshit. What the fuck? Why even introduce him? Why even count them as a icon when you're not even gonna have him in the game? Just make it 7 at that point. That shit makes 0 sense. And then at the end, when all 3 of them die, again, Joshua may be alive, is kind of implied, blah, 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 whatever you want to think. Dion gets killed the most predictable way possible. He has to take a big hit for somebody else can save somebody else. If you see an anime, you just have you should see any type of media, you can see this coming a mile away. Another thing too, as you progress through the game, there's a point during the game that if you go past it, you can't return to it. The problem with that is that there's certain side quests that are missable. That should not be a thing. That shouldn't be a thing. I don't know what Square Enix was doing. I don't know what the FF14 thinking his team was doing. And also another thing too, when you take a quest, every single time you have to see the stupid ass like it's an MMO. Like, it's cool the first few times, but after that, trash. Like, going back to Ultima, like, his reasoning at the end was like, oh, I'm too scared to be, somewhat human. I just don't want to be human. I'm gonna throw you guys away and I'm gonna just kill everybody. His motivations are fucking lackluster. What was even the point of anything? And also, speaking of the Odin Kaiju fight, we didn't get no Shiva fight, and we didn't get no Ramu fight, and you know damn well we didn't get Leviathan, because Leviathan is nowhere to be found in this fucking game. Some people think Benedicta died a bit too early. It kind of rushed because she was like kind of the tutorial kind of boss, which is a slap to the face of her end. And if you're a new person playing this game too, the beginning, the first almost 2 hours is literally cutscene in like 15 minutes of gameplay. It's really bad. The pacing can be really bad. But I know it sounds like I'm hating at this game. This game is literally amazing in the first 2 quarters. Very, very good. Very, very fun. Some people do not like how there's no status effects. There's no magic and stuff. I can see where that would be an issue because, it's a Final Fantasy. People want to do magic. That's another glaring issue, but it was more like action focused. So we don't really need it in this case, but it would be nice to have. Some of the abilities, specifically from like Shiba or Ramu, and I forgot who else. Like, their circular abilities is kind of like they're kind of the same, and I think this should have been integrated into the dodge button instead of having an actual ability. Also, why the fuck can we not use all the abilities at once? Why? Why don't we have to choose 3? What? No, let me take that. Why do you have to set 3 icons as your abilities, and why can you only use 2 abilities per slots? That's bullshit. You should let me use all the goddamn powers. Why is this even a thing? Why? And that's another thing too. Going back, freaking the whole game is like, oh, his mom is racist. She doesn't care about people. She only cares about herself. Like, she's just extremely evil, like Cersei for Game of Thrones. This game is so similar to Game of Thrones that they even fucked up the endings just like the fucking show. Like, what the fuck? The mom, like, the whole game you hear her mom doing some wild shit to people. She gave a fuck about nobody. She kills her husband. She tries to kill both of her kids. And like, bro, the payoff is nothing. She just, oh, I can't believe you guys are alive, blah, blah. And then she just kills herself. There's no conversation. There's no, like, hitting her or yelling at her or banter between the family. There's nothing. She just decides to commit suicide. That's fuck. When the first whole half of the game is literally you hear about her doing wild shit and just basically saying everybody that's a bird is a slave, you're nothing. And over here, she over here giving her fucking body up, giving birth to another son to the king, and for what? Nothing. You just, bro, it's, man, I'm still mad. I didn't get no Odin fight. That shit is a fucking, oh my god. I know I'm going in circles, but this shit is just, it's just brain dead. And it's obvious that this game is, they're gonna have DLC for this game. Regardless of what you think, they're gonna have DLC for this game. Whatever that DLC may be, who knows? It could be a sequel, but it's gonna be, obviously, it's gonna be for Leviathan because they cut him out on purpose. That shit made no sense. And yeah, so going on from there, the main character decides to just kill himself at the end. Why? Why? I know I said this earlier, but why? Why would he kill himself? Why? Bro, they did this ending in Final Fantasy 15 already. They did this ending where the main character tragically sacrifices himself to save quote-unquote humanity. You don't need to do that. Like one of my friends said, the best way they could have done this is that Clyde comes home at the end, and then maybe he has like 6 to maybe 1 or 2 years left in his life, because he has all the powers and he's like, everything is done for him. So you can at least get some sort of happy ending with him and Jill. Jill just becomes your typical female dancing in the stress. Oh, he died, I'm gonna go cry, blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit. Like, oh my god. How did they drop the ball? I was telling everybody this game is gonna be game of the year. It has music, it has story, it has characters, it has action, gameplay, everything. It was a whole package, and they dropped the ball at the end. How? How do they manage to do this? I don't. Most of the budget went into the first half of the game. And then somewhere along the line, somebody said, nah, we're going to drop what we had going, this Game of Thrones style political thing, for your typical anime protagonist bullshit. Where, like I said at the beginning of the video, you can see the stupid ass ending from the beginning. The stupid main character was going to gain all the powers and he was going to fucking sacrifice himself. It was so obvious. It's like, the whole time I was like, hey, I'm hoping this does not happen. I'm hoping this does not happen. Nope. Nope. Japan has to be Japan. And another thing too, if you're wondering, there is no endgame content. That's not a thing. There is no epilogue. There's no like secret dungeon you can unlock. There's no secret bosses you unlock. There might be one. I could be wrong on that. But there is no, hey, you beat the game, now you can do this. No. And also at the end, Clive sucks in Ultima's powers. And you think maybe that could give you new shit to do. No. No. They lock their regular game. Like if you do the new game plus in Final Fantasy mode, there's like new enemies and shit. But that should have been in the base game. That shouldn't have been never been new game plus. But this whole thing is just, I'm salty about there not being Odin fight, no Leviathan fight. Shiva makes sense because she's an ally. Ramuh's usually an ally too, but still, there should have been a Kaiju fight. They could do DLC like Kingdom Hearts would do Caverns of Remembrance, but I don't think they're gonna do that either. But overall, this game for me was a 9.5. I mean a 9, excuse me, and it immediately dropped down to a 7. 7 above than average. They fucked it up. They dropped the ball. Like, god damn it. Let me know what else you think they dropped the ball on down in the comments. If you're still here watching, hit the like button, all the bullshit that every YouTuber says. See you guys later. Bye.